Everyone, welcome to the first episode of 2024 Independent Artists Unite. I am super excited to have the enigmatic high priestess of dark wave, Zarina.
Thank you,
Welcome.
Scott. Thank you for having me. This is exciting.
It's exciting for me because I tell you, I am so impressed with you. I mean, you in your bio it says you're this multidiscipline artist. You really see it, everything really you use in your performance, in your recording. You see that you have this fashion background. You see that you are this multi-instrumentalist. You see that you're a filmmaker. I mean, the quality of your music and your videos and the costuming and the makeup. I mean, this is like these are the things that like kept me in my bedroom opening up albums,
Oh,
David Bowie albums when I was a kid. I mean, it's like I just really respect that you put that much love and care into what you do. I mean, this is like it looks like huge budget things that I know, you know, are probably not that big a budget. So it's really amazing.
imagine
So
if we had a budget, actually, I always,
I can't imagine. I don't know what you would do better because you do these epic videos, I mean, like, the video for Wonderland, if anyone hasn't seen that, or for this new song that we're going to talk about tonight, Candy Warrior, is, I mean, it's so creative, and so like touching, but also with a wink of a little bit of camp or humor. Not that it's a comedy, but just a little bit of a wink. Like, okay, this is a little over the top and campy, kind of like. I mean, oh, true, and I should say that you're a martial artist as well, because that also you can see with your movements. You have these striking movements that are all choreographed that you use, that you
well,
do in your
I
videos, and it's
definitely,
really amazing.
I definitely had that, like, that harsh Asian upbringing, you know, like where, I mean, it's the parody, like, in my culture where, like Asian parents, they really lay it on thick on their children. I definitely
Yeah.
am. We were immigrants. So, like, we moved to the United States when I was very young, and my parents were very worried, like, about my future. So they really equipped us, like,
As they should be, but
yeah, like, they're like, no, you gotta be, you gotta do great in school.
mm,
You gotta be able to do all these things. But I mean, it was hard, but at the same time, I'm really grateful. I thoroughly enjoy everything that I do. It sucks that there isn't enough time during the day to get to everything, really,
yeah.
I wish I didn't need sleep. but but yeah, but no, thank you so much. Thank you for seeing that,
Well, can
and
I
but
ask, so you were born in the Philippines,
yeah, I was born in the Philippines, yeah.
and then as a baby came to New York City, or
Yeah, when I think I was like 7.
oh,
Yeah, 6,
seven.
7.
Okay, all
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
yeah.
I
So
spent
you
my
remember the
early,
Philippines and everything, yeah.
oh yeah, a little bit, like, really early. I spent my, the first few years of my life there, and
Mm,
then we moved to New York. And yeah, started life over. My family started
mm.
their lives over, and but it's been it's been interesting. It's been hard. Like, New York's hard.
Yeah,
You're from New York, right? Aren't you?
I lived there for 22 years, yeah,
There you go.
and then made this move to Denmark,
It's
um,
amazing.
about 13 years ago, and yeah, I mean, this is like a retirement community compared to New York City. I mean,
Oh yeah, I'm in a similar, like, I live in a fishing village now in Spain, and, like, and I
yeah,
love it. It's nothing like New York,
yeah.
but I
And
think
then
that
you go back to New York and it's like, what the fuck?
yeah, it's
What was I putting myself through?
I was there a year and a half ago for for a fashion gig, and I could not I could not recognize it, it's changed so much since the
Oh yeah.
pandemic.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
For
But
sure. Yeah.
yeah, like, New York was tough. I mean, like, the city will eat you alive, and
Yeah.
spit you out, right?
Yeah.
And then but at the same time, I'm so grateful for being able to live there and growing up there and being exposed to everything, like, being exposed to, like,
Mm,
all that melting pot of cultures, and
yeah.
it definitely made me strong. But I'm so happy to be in Spain.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I was, I think I took everything for granted in New York City, and it's only now at this age when I tell stories to people and they're like, what? And I realized, oh, that was really special, kind of
Yeah.
the community that I was involved in. And I was very much in this like, and when were you in, when did you leave New York?
Right, July of 2020.
Oh,
Like, right
2020. Okay. I didn't
pandemic.
know if I'm, well, of course I'm older than you are, but did you ever hear of Squeeze Box? It was this party at Don Hills in the
I
West
performed at
Village.
Don Hills, like,
Oh,
when it
Don
was
Hills, yeah.
when yeah, like, it was when I had a prog metal band when like
Of course you did.
early 2000s. Like, that was like I was in college, and then, like, I had this, like, yeah, this prog metal band, and we did the gig circuit in New York, and
Yeah,
I
yeah.
remember Don Hills. That was actually, it was a great venue. It was beautiful.
Yeah, a
Um
great sound system. Yeah.
yeah, but that was, like, yeah, a long time ago.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think it was this was like a party that was on Friday night there. I think it died in like 90 98 or no, it must have been, maybe it died a little after 2000, I don't know, 2003 or something. But it was this like queer friendly, super creative um community, and it was the night was like hosted by drag queens, and they sang songs, but there was a live band that they sang with, and then there was bands um, later in the night, and it was so great to play there because you just had a built-in crowd of like 250 people smashed in there that were just happy to see anybody, with makeup on stage.
New
and
York, New
and I
York
to- I
definitely
totally
had
took
them.
it for granted. Yeah, and I look back now and I was like, wow, that was really crazy because I worked with like these makeup artists that, would do my makeup on a Friday night, and then Monday morning they'd be doing someone for the cover of W magazine or something like that. And so it was really amazing to meet all these like artists. But with your with this with the song Candy Warrior, I'm
Yeah.
really curious now. Can I tell you what I think it's about?
Sure.
I'm
Yeah.
dying to know if I'm
I would love to I'd love to hear it.
because what I picture is like, and maybe I'm just in a total fantasy world, but I'm picturing this like little fierce-willed barefoot girl on like dirt streets in the Philippines, running around and having this maybe a pretend sword that's a a bamboo stick or something, and that she's fueled by candy, that maybe she's even shoplifting from the corner store, I don't know, and in this total kind of fantasy world of
It's
video games, of being the hero in the video game and the hero in real life.
you're not far off from what really inspired it. I mean, yeah, I was kind of like that. Growing up in, or at least my early childhood in the Philippines.
Mm,
Although I wasn't barefoot, but, like, but I I I wore these Zori slippers, like, these rubber flip-flops,
mm,
basically, and for sure running around, running amok in the neighborhood and with the other kids. I definitely had that moment. But yeah, you're not that far off, and Yeah, I wrote Candy Warrior when I was actually I conceptualized Candy Warrior at a very, very, very young age. And that's just something that just was with me this entire time. And
Wow.
it was like, yeah, it's a song about, where do I fit in? Like, where
Mm,
it's not about identity. For sure I was a kid that got bullied and
mm,
and then moving to the United States, that was even harder because it's like, if you know a little if you know a little bit about the history of the Philippines, like, Philippines is an extremely and violently diverse
mm,
culture because we've been colonized over and over, and basically it's I feel like being Filipino already on its own already has some sort of, like, identity issues because
mm,
because of our history, and then moving to the United States where it's like, oh wow, I'm different, and I've
mm,
always felt different. So my entire life I kind of just felt different. And then and so I've always had this Candy Warrior character, like,
mm,
as a source of kind of like a source of strength, like something I could hold on to, like,
mm,
whenever I'm feeling down, and kind of just like, take me through growing up and everything that I face, right? And it's always been in the back of my mind. And then when years later, for sure, here I'm in Spain, I'm doing dark music, and then my friends X wanted to do a collaboration, and X is they're a monster electro band, and
I love that
they're
name.
yeah, electro, right? I mean, you need to see them in action. They're amazing. And
Yes.
they're very campy, they're very unhinged. Like, there's like a bit of comedy in what they do.
Mm,
And but they're amazing, amazing musicians, and one of the best acts like in Europe, especially in that genre. And so when I started doing this collab, well, they sent me some demo tracks, like, to play around with.
mm,
And I was like, you know what? Currently this project, Zarina is known for a lot of that big epic orchestral mixed with electronic sounds type of thing,
mm,
like in my last record, Arcana. So I also had to think about what would campy Zarina be, right?
mm,
And then, the same kind of energy that X has,
mm.
but me, but
Yeah.
what's the my version of that? And
Yeah. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
Candy Warrior, like, I had to, like,
Yeah.
go and dig up Candy Warrior, and I'm like, yeah, like, we could totally make this really cool and funny and fun, and also at the same time it has a message, it has
Yeah,
a
I
message.
was going to say at the same time that must have really meant something very deep for you to that you carried this persona inside since you were a little girl, and now it's actually you're putting it into artistic
Yeah,
life, giving
I
it an
figured
artistic life.
it was time to immortalize Candy Warrior.
Yeah.
And I when I was writing it, I threw a lot of the things that I enjoyed as a kid. I
Mm,
love video games. I love animes, and so when I was writing the song, I wanted to, you know, take bits and pieces of all that nostalgia and throw it into the song.
mm.
Um, yeah, and then when I was also writing the song, I already thought of the perfect concept for the music video. It's just that's just how I am. Like, whenever I'm writing a song, I'm like, I need to see the visuals. Like, how is this
I
gonna
do
go?
the same thing. I do the same thing. Yeah.
Right? It's like it's almost like creating a movie, but then you're starting with
Yeah.
the music first, like,
Hmm.
And then so yeah, voila. I sent the tracks, my tracks, to Exercise, and then they did their magic. They added those, like, those gnarly bass lines and
Oh,
all their boom boomy. I called it boom boomy dancey, like, vibes
it
that they're really
sounds
good
so good, this song. It
at. Thank
really is like top of the top, like quality, it's just so crisp. And it's just like, it has that thing when you really hear a song that's like artfully done, I think, where it kind of massages your ears. It's just like it's just like you can relax and enjoy everything about it. I really enjoy listening to this song. And there's so many yeah, there's all these elements that you mentioned that I love. I had to Google what a Buster Sword is. So I found out from Final Fantasy VII that Cloud brandishes this enormous kind of
Oh yeah.
butcher
Cloud
knife
Cool.
slash sword. Um,
Yeah.
and I think some of the other ones I got though, I can't think. But yeah, I thought that was really cool. And yeah, but it really just sounds so great. And I love the little element too there of where it starts with this pounding bass, and then you hear this little
Yeah, like the
uh,
pentatonic Asian scales.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a little Asian scale. Yeah. So it clues you in right away to that of this little girl's um kind of heritage and life, and also brings in a little bit of that martial arts feel, almost like one of those martial arts movies that are dubbed when the guy's like, you can't do that, you know.
Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Yeah, it was definitely different. It was different from me, different for X-Dice, and and I thought it worked. And I guess we kind of developed this new genre called industrial bubblegum dark wave pop. At least that's what everyone's calling it. And I'm like, yeah, let's do industrial
Yeah, that's it.
bubblegum pop. Yeah, that's it. And it's like a nice blend, and
Yeah,
finally have something in my discography that's a little bit lighter and fun and not so
yeah.
serious.
Well, I mean, it's weird though, because there is something I mean, I sense that there was something serious underneath it all. You know what I mean?
Oh,
That
I know.
that that's the beauty of this, like when things are a bit camp, but you feel like there's some heartbreak in there, and it was interesting to hear you talk about that. But it also, the melody is just so infectious. I mean, it's such a great pop song. And your vocals, I mean, I'm such a fan that, it's like I did this with Bowie's vocals as a kid. Like there were certain words that I just loved so much, and with yours, as soon as I heard it, looking for a higher ground, the way you said that, ground, I was like, so cool. And then the next time when it comes around to, like, oh no, she didn't cut and paste this. The next time it's for a higher ground. It's like this lighter, playful thing the next time it comes around. And I just thought that is such like a great attention to detail, like the first time to like put out this like really kind of confident and proud chest ground, and then the second time it's like, oh, higher ground. I could just see a little girl running around, and I don't know, I just love it. I just love it. But I was going to ask you if you could read the lyrics for us,
Sure.
because I also think it's just like a great little story, I think,
Yeah, I'm glad you asked. All right, so here are the lyrics. Where am I supposed to be? Displaced because of identity. All alone in this shiny city, running around with a buster sword. Looking for higher ground, hoping to make my ancestors proud. Armed and ready in battlegrounds, so I can be me and finally be free. Tall tales are not really that typical. Never gonna lie what life's been like. The road I drove is not that typical. Never gonna lie what life's been like.
Mm,
Candy Warrior, I'm not your savior. Candy Warrior, I'm not your savior.
mm,
What am I supposed to be? A shadow without identity, outcast of this gritty city, running around with a buster sword, looking for higher grounds, armed and ready in battlegrounds, break the rules in my own playground so I can be me and finally be free.
mm.
Tall tales are not really that typical. Never gonna lie what life's been like. I know I'm not quite that typical. Never gonna lie what life's been like. Candy Warrior, I'm not your savior.
Wow, thank you.
You're welcome.
That is so great. That is so great. You know, I'm like, I'm a fan for life. I'm a fan for life.
Oh, I
I can't,
appreciate it.
I'm like, yeah, and now I need to catch up, you know, because I just found out about you. You know, I was talking to Lisa Marie from Radical Bicep.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Lisa, she's
And
so
she,
lovely. I love her.
yeah, she's so sweet. Yeah. And and she was talking about, you know, how awesome you were and how you know, warm and friendly and sweet you are. And she's like, "Oh yeah, you should." I say, "Oh, I'd love to have her on the show." "Oh, you should just reach out to her, you know." So I'm just so thrilled that you were willing to do this, you know.
Oh no, like anytime. And congratulations to your recent release. The new track,
Oh
Love,
yeah.
is it Love Awaits?
Um, well, that's a good question. True love awaits. That's it.
True Love Awaits. Yeah. True
Now,
Love Awaits
I would
and,
say I have a mild brain injury, so that's my
oh,
excuse for not being able to remember the name of my own
I just
song.
remember the lyrics like when you're seeing it. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh man. But yeah, and you said, wow, this is you said this
yeah, it
is
sounds like an I think I called it art goth pop type of track.
art goth wave, you said.
Yeah, so oh yeah, art
Yeah.
goth wave. Art
And
goth
I'm
wave.
like, let's do it. This is a thing. Art goth wave.
Art goth wave. There you go.
There's not enough subgenres.
I know,
We
right?
got we
I
got
mean,
we
I think it's just gonna keep like, people will just well now I think a lot of artists are trying to find their sound, find their way,
yeah,
and
yeah,
cut
yeah,
through the mustard. And so we're going to find a lot of that amalgam of different genres being pieced together to create something cool and new and unique. So
yeah. You know, I wanted to ask you, what are some of your influences as a singer? Because I hear, you know, little influences in there, I think, but I'm curious who you admired growing up, or who some of your heroes are.
oh, my biggest hero is oh well, so I'm a huge Tool fan. I'm not sure if you're
Oh
familiar
yeah,
with
I wanted to ask you about that too. Yeah, 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 yeah.
I love Tool. I grew up
Me
listening to
too.
Tool.
Me too. Yeah.
They just changed my perception when it comes to music and being introduced to that kind of sound at a very young age.
Mm.
It's like wow. So Maynard James Keenan for sure is one of my heroes.
Well, I mean, he could be like, you know, the almost like the male version of you. He is like equally as creative and got his hands in so many things. I mean, he's also really amazing and has a sense of humor too, and is a martial artist actually.
Yeah.
He does
Yeah. And he
jujitsu.
has a vineyard. Like, that's the only thing
Yeah,
that I don't have yet. A vineyard.
I know. And you're in Spain. I thought it comes with a vineyard, doesn't it?
Right? Like I need a vineyard. So I could be exactly like Maynard James King. That's the only thing that's missing. But no, but I love the man so much, and he definitely like yeah, I want to be like him. I just when I was 17, 18, like I was like I want to be exactly like this dude. And then
Have you seen him live?
yeah, I've seen Tool live many times,
Because
especially when I
now I'm wondering if we're at the same show.
oh
The Ain, no, what is it called? Anima? That
oh
album?
Onuma, yeah.
Anima, yeah. Were you at that
Yeah.
show in New
Uh
York?
no, I was still too young
Okay.
when the book came out. Or at least I wasn't able to go go out to
Without
see big shows
supervision.
like that yet. Yeah. But I think I started attending the concerts when Lateralis came out. So that was that was when I started basically going
Oh
to
shoot.
a lot of the Tool
Maybe it
shows.
was Lateralis I'm talking about.
Um,
I don't
but
know. What year was that?
oh my God, that was a
Did you see them in New York then?
I think I saw them in New Jersey actually.
Uh,
Yeah, and then yeah, that was early 2000s. I think 2000, I want to say 2010 yeah, I don't know. Oh my gosh, 2002, 2001. It
Okay.
was, I think,
Yeah,
I
I
think,
think I saw him in the later 90s kind of thing.
yeah.
Um, yeah.
And then, yeah, and I saw their 10,000 Days concert. And then they stopped making music for 13 years after that. Right? So
Mm.
like, um, but yeah, and then other influences that I have had, well, I also listened to a lot of alternative rock, because it was the 90s, like 90s was my decade. And Dolores O'Riordan for sure,
Oh,
Cranberries.
okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then and I was listening to some of like the old dark wave stuff, like Susie
So,
Sue and the Band. And and that's a lot of my musical nerdiness got really sharpened when
yeah.
because of Tool. Like, I love odd rhythms. I love polyrhythms. Like
Mm.
I just love it. That's why I'm like when I'm writing a record, it's hard for me to do just the four and floor type of stuff. Like, I need a much more impactful and fully fleshed out um drums and bass and because of Tool. That's their influence. Like
So but when I saw that you did a Tool cover, I was like, wait just a second. Because I
it was
have
in a perfect circle. Well,
oh well,
related, but
that's right. It was a perfect circle. That's right. That's
yeah.
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, but that is, I mean, some Perfect Circle really sounds different, but that is kind of a Toolish Perfect Circle song. I feel like
Yes. Yeah, they're
that's right. It is Perfect Circle. Yeah, which I also love. I love Perfect Circle. Yeah.
amazing musicians.
Wow. Well, what's next for you? What's the
I'm
next?
working on my third record.
Yeah.
Finally officially started, and I hope to drop my first single maybe sometime late spring. I'm not quite sure yet.
Oh,
Um,
awesome.
Trying to figure out my release schedule and my pacing because I don't want to like over release, Even though right now with the way things are, with the way the model is in the
Mm,
music landscape, like they encourage like releasing constantly, but I'm like, no,
mm.
like I don't want people to get burnt out.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, third record is on its way.
And when you're envisioning a new record, are you envisioning a whole new costuming of yourself and a whole new makeup design and everything that goes with it,
I
along
mean,
with the video that
yes,
you're talking
I
about?
definitely treat every single one of my records as though I'm creating a collection. Like, I came
Mm,
from fashion. I'm a designer, and so I always think in bigger stories or bigger concepts. Like there's definitely an eagle eye view.
mm,
Uh, and at the same time it still has to be me. So I always look for like what's the natural progression from the last record type of thing. So that's what I basically got conceptualized. So this is a nice progression from the last one. Or at least I think it's a nice progression from the last one, but it makes sense. And I'm very excited, yeah, because it's gonna be a little different.
oh, that's so cool. And so when you're conceptualizing the video, your partner also you work with on the
My
videos, is that
husband,
right? Yeah, yeah, your
yeah,
husband.
my
Yeah, yeah.
husband, yeah, Deadly Koayu. He's in charge of a lot of the like he definitely is the like the muscle behind all the visual work.
Yeah.
Extremely instrumental in the execution and a lot of the technical aspect of creating the videos and filming, drone cinematography and all that stuff and all our
Yeah.
photo shoots. He's definitely the one who's behind the
So,
camera.
well, you
And
guys, you guys make a great, like incredibly creative, artistic team. It's so
thank you.
so cool, so cool. It must be so fun too for you guys to
It's
work together like that.
yeah, it's definitely we're kind of obsessed with the process. It's I think that's what's different about us, is that we're not
Mm,
so concerned over what happens after. We're really deep in the process, and
mm,
we will definitely look at everything, like nothing escapes us, like,
mm,
and then we will execute something and then we'll go back to it over and over to challenge it. That's just how we are programmed and wired, and because we just love the process. Like the last music video that we did before Candy Warrior, the previous one, the Fox's Wedding.
yeah.
So we did all the editing and post production on that, and I think we must have had like 65 versions of the Fox's
Wow.
Wedding. Like, it was kind of crazy. Yeah. But
And is
but
he
we're
right? Oh, sorry. Is he right with you? Like like through the creative process of the music? Like, do you try different things out on him? Hey, what do you think of this? Or are you just in your own world for the
Yeah,
beat?
I bounce a lot of the ideas with him. Like, he's definitely he's my muse. He
Yeah.
introduced me to a lot of cool things
Mm,
that helped shape this project, and cool new bands that would later influence me.
mm,
And so, like, he has amazing taste level, and I really trust him. And so I definitely run a lot of my ideas and concepts,
yeah.
and he's always supportive, but he will also tell me when he's like, "Oh, that's not good." He's not. We're honest with each other.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but yeah, but it's a really wonderful dynamic. It's very, very we're just so aligned in so many
Yeah,
ways.
that's so beautiful. Yeah.
I feel very lucky.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for doing this. Like I said, I am a forever fan of Zarina. I can't wait to see what you're cooking up for the next album. And yeah, I mean, you're just a consummate artist, in across the board. And thank you
No,
for
thank you. Thank you for having me.
for being out there doing this stuff, because it really is inspiring. This really you know uh, the kind of stuff that really inspires me when I see people going for it like that. It makes me want to do it myself. So thank you.
And you definitely should do it.
Yeah,
I think that's the point. That's why I love doing it, is because I feel like, you throw a stone into the body of water, and then you never know how far the ripples go, right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
so we have to keep throwing the stone into the water.
Yes, yes. Well, thanks for throwing and thanks for the ripples. And yeah, everyone, if you have not checked out Candy Warrior, do yourself a favor, leave it on repeat. That's what I do. It's just so it's just I mean I told you actually, oh, I'm just dancing around in my kitchen too. I put it on when I'm washing dishes, like the high ground. It's like, it makes me happy about doing my dishes. So
Thank you. That means so much.
yeah, it's just great. So thank you so much. And I'll be following you on the Instagram there. And thanks again for doing this. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
So nice to meet you face to face. See you.
Bye.